State-of-the-art conversion tracking. Today we're going to speak about what to measure. Happy New Year, first of all.
Yeah, Happy New Year, and thanks for listening this year to all of you. We've really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Leave your feedback down below. We have a lot of exciting episodes planned for next year, so hopefully see you there. And let's dive into today's episode, conversion tracking.
This topic is really... I receive so many questions from marketing leaders and colleagues about tracking, and there are thousands of ways of tracking, self-attributed, client-side, with shiny tools where you can have long journeys from accounts. So there are really a lot of software solutions on the market, and I'm super happy to speak about this today because I think that, there are just an incredible amount of solutions and a lot of even experts in our industry. Sometimes they don't really know, okay, how should I measure my campaigns?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I think it rounds off the year quite well for us because it's still so front and center in every collaboration. It's always tricky. It's never easy to do right and set up well. So maybe to start, can you give us a summary? Why is it so important, and why is it just flying blind without a proper conversion tracking?
I think it always depends on the general funnel structure, but when you look at complex deals with more touch points, I mean, it's not necessarily just B2B, can even be B2C. If you're selling something that is not just an impulse in a purchase, then you will have many touch points. And what I see a lot is that the advertising platforms, they all try to attribute everything for themselves. So you have, let me give you one example, pretty simple I think so far, that's easy to follow. You have an Instagram campaign by Meta, and you have a Google Ads campaign, and you maybe have a Reddit campaign. And someone had 3 touch points. He first checked Reddit, then he was in remarketing on Meta, and then he came and purchased on Google. And all of these platforms tell you, we are the champions. We made it. So there's a conversion. You will see 3 conversions.
Yeah.
If you rely on cookie-based tracking, and obviously there isn't a single reason why someone converted. So without the Reddit ad, they wouldn't have seen you anyway. Without the remarketing, they probably would have forgotten you. And maybe without the Google ad at the end, they would just clicked on an ad of a competitor.
Yeah.
And maybe the competitor is cheaper, better, whatever. So it's very difficult to say what was now the campaign. You can just say that all of these campaigns were probably important. And you can benchmark whether all of these campaigns together have been profitable when you look at the whole generated new customers and the whole investment. But this is really tricky. I mean, you can have shiny tools tracking that, but sometimes it's not even possible to track all of these touch points. So my recommendation is always to go self-attributed. The sales should always ask the client, did you hear about us on LinkedIn? Did you follow us for some time? So really dig deep into the journey. You will not have a clear pattern for every client where you say, oh, this is exactly what happens. They all find us first on Reddit, then they come through LinkedIn. There's always a different journey for each client. So I would recommend not to expect finding these linear approaches in winning clients. Unlikely that you will scale with these linear approaches.
So your recommendation is to kind of zoom out, look at the final transaction, try to have some self-attribution. Still, how should clients or marketers think about, I mean, that's always a decision at the beginning of a strategy, right? Which channels to prioritize, where to put budgets, how to measure the return on that budget, how should they do this?
So, I mean, we already had one really nice episode about the buyer personas, and I think this is the perfect point to kind of tell you what's next. So you develop the buyer personas. For those who are not familiar with that, check the episode. It's really crucial to have great buyer personas and not to come up with some rubbish. And once you have the buyer personas, you should think about, where can I get a very valid first touch point? So the first touch point is crucial. If you generate trashy first touch points, let's say on your website is, let me give you one example. If you do a very broad campaign on Google, like you have clicks for whatever keywords, and you have thousands of visitors on your page, but none of them are actually really matching your buyer personas. When you look at your remarketing audience, you will have a absolutely trashy remarketing audience. If you want to remarket with this audience, you can be sure that there will not be any results from that, because it wasn't actually a target that you have in the audience. So my recommendation is, make sure that the traffic you generate is very relevant. You're not generating traffic from any shitty campaigns. That's the most important thing. And the next big opportunity is, if you have relevant traffic, build a very strong remarketing strategy. Specifically in mid-market or enterprise, it's very likely that decisions need a lot of time. Or even in B2C for expensive products, it's sometimes not that someone is purchasing immediately. So if you have a good audience and you know that they are already interested in the product or in a solution, it's not necessarily that they are interested in the product already, then you can build the remarketing through all channels. You can ensure that you have all relevant touch points. It can be LinkedIn, it can be Meta, it can be whatever channel it is, display network, newsletters. But you should ensure that the core, the audience that you remarket is really, really good.
Okay, that makes sense. And what would you say to a client that is saying, oh, but we've always done it this way, we prefer last click attribution because it's easy and we don't want to think about anything else? Do you refuse to take this client on board, or?
Definitely not. I think it's always, you can compare it with a setup where you don't have any tracking. No, then it's okay, because then you can track something. And I see a lot of clients struggling in the tracking, but just because the orchestration, I mean, you maybe need the approval from the data protection officer. And he says, tracking, no, we're not working with any of these tools. Okay. And you can't really do that. Or you have a sales department who is outsourced. Or maybe it's just pre-sales. If they don't follow the process to understand where a prospect came from, how will you have self-attributed insights? There are many reasons why a tracking setup isn't perfect. And if you want to be really, if you really want to benchmark your own tracking performance, then I think that most companies can do better.
And for some companies, maybe say they are less dependent on this multi-channel setup where customers have multiple touch points, but say they only serve their customers in Google, and they're using Google's features like maximize conversions, where Google is taking over and optimizes their campaigns based on these conversions. Where do you see the risks in letting go of this strategic control over your campaigns?
I think it always depends on the business. So if you have a business where you really care about the clients you win, and maybe it can have different aspects of the clients you want and the clients you don't want. But what I saw a lot is companies starting working with PMAX, and they generate leads, but these leads are actually not the ones that really drive a lot of revenue. or they don't drive any revenue because they are just spam. That's
Mhm.
also possible. If you work with a bidding on a qualified lead, that's
Mhm.
even better. So
Mhm.
this works for some account. This works really good. The next thing is looking at a PMAX. You're giving away your decision on if you want to invest in upper funnel brand building, or if you want to invest in lower funnel
Mhm.
capturing demand. And I think if you're planning to position yourself, that's really tricky, because you're just actually telling an AI to position you.
Mhm.
And probably there are features coming where you can explain how you want
Yeah.
to be positioned, but at the moment I think it's very one-dimensional.
Mhm.
If it's okay for the business, you can continue with that. But I even saw accounts where 30 or 40% was invested in GDN.
Mhm.
Like the numbers looked okay-ish, but the client was asking, "Hey, why is the lead quality so poor?"
Mhm.
Then we checked, okay, what was actually an investment from a PMAX, and we saw that 40% was invested in GDN, and the GDN drove a lot of leads that all came through some websites that were not, I would say, suspicious.
Yeah.
But the algorithm is just always trying to find ways to be fluid in and adjust to what someone wants. But positioning is sometimes the opposite. Position means
Mhm.
you tell someone this is what we are not.
Mhm.
So if someone approaches us and asks, "Hey, we would like to start our company. Could you help us selling these T-shirts?"
Mhm.
Then I would tell them, "I really like your idea and I think you will sell great T-shirts, but we are focused on lead gen, demand gen, and B2B marketing, so we can't support you with that.
Mhm.
Besides that, you are not the right size of in the company. We help scale-ups and enterprises." And positioning is really a lot about telling someone who you are not.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what's not happening in all these automated environments. They are like, we are this, we are that, click here and convert. And
Yeah.
it's very likely that it will cause trouble in the sales department.
Mhm. Yeah, that's super interesting. Maybe one last question. The word server-side tracking is always flying around when this topic is raised. Which situations would you say this makes sense, or is it often just too complicated and not really worth implementing?
So server-side tracking is when you look at the tracking where you only track those who give you the consent.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best setup you can have.
Mm-hmm.
You still can't track those that are declining any cookies, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, but that wouldn't be legal.
Yeah.
In B2B, you can track account-based, which means a whole different game.
Mm-hmm.
Like in B2B, I recommend you to look at the accounts, check the engagement, and ensure that you can trace back the engagement to a specific account.
Yeah.
You can do that on LinkedIn. They offer these functionalities. You can do that with Hockey Stack. You can do that with Dream Data. You can do that probably with 20 other tools. And this is really good if you want to trace back a lead or a deal that was won,
Mm-hmm.
and you want to see, was this actually someone who already engaged with our content maybe 6 months ago? It really gives you the arguments to say, oh, that was a successful marketing in some ways. Obviously, the sales department was involved as well, and you should closely connect to sales, but it gives you the possibility to really show, look, this account was in touch with us 20, 30, 40 times before we actually decided to request a demo, for example. So to come back to your question, server-side tracking is a great thing, and I recommend most of the companies to implement it. I'm saying most because I know that for some industries it doesn't really matter. You will not have a huge performance uplift from that. In other industries, you can have an incredible performance uplift. It always depends on what browsers is an audience using. Are most of them declining or not the cookies? Yeah, so those are actually the main.
Okay, nice. I think that's it for today and for this year, actually. So thanks for all the episodes, and Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year, everyone. Hope we see each other next year.
Yes.
Thanks, Julius.
Thank you. Bye bye.